October 10th, 2013, Dr. Glidden, live in the saddle, coming at you through the Genesis Communication Network, broadcasting worldwide wherever there is a high-speed broadband internet connection. We're revolutionizing both the delivery of medical information, the delivery of health information, the dissemination of sound business structures with hardly any startup costs, and changing the way that people relate to their health all around the world. And we're doing it through the internet. We're doing it through radio stations around the world, which are wise enough and smart enough to adopt our business model and help us spread our message. A shout out to all of the radio stations that are doing this right now live. If you are listening to a live radio feed, support your radio station. Support that radio station. Call them up. Pull over to the side of the road. Call the radio station up. Stop what you're doing in the house. Call the radio station up and say, "We love Fire Your MD Now." It's a fantastic show. I mean, if you think it's a fantastic show, let the radio station know that they're doing a good job because, you know, that's how we work. We need feedback. The more feedback we can get, the better everybody is, and life progresses positively or negatively depending on the amount of effort and the amount of care that we bring to the table. So take a little bit of time, call the radio station that you're listening to up and say, "Hey man, this is a good deal. Keep it coming. Life is good." We have a request from the Canadian group. I have a live chat 3-4 hours a week that you have access to as a Dr. Glidden Insider, as a member of my online health recovery subscription service. And we have a question from the chat room from some folks who attended one of my events in Canada last week. The question is, what do you do for the human papillomavirus, HPV? Well, number one, don't get the vaccine, because the vaccine doesn't do anything to prevent the human papillomavirus, and it's loaded with side effects. The net negative returns on the human papillomavirus vaccination far outweigh any positive effects that it could have. And, you know, the human papillomavirus is a virus, and as a virus, it exists in a very peculiar state of being. Viruses are considered to be on the edge of reality. And this is not Dr. Glidden talking. I mean, look it up. Pathophysiologists, people who, you know, have PhDs in bugs, right, and how they work, not insects, but, you know, bacteria and viruses and things like that, have no idea what to think about a virus. Is it alive? Is it dead? Did you know that a virus can live on a tabletop for about 1 million years? Completely unaffected by extremes of heat and temperature. And then once the virus enters into a living biological system, it activates itself, it comes alive. How the heck does that happen? A virus is basically a lot of genetic material, chromosomal information wrapped in a protective shell. That's all that it is. What causes a virus to work, how the virus works, where the virus works, when the virus stops working, when the virus starts working, nobody knows. And the people that really study this stuff intensely, you know, the more you study it, the more you're left clueless. It's like, holy crap, what is going on here? We don't even know if it's alive or if it's dead, viruses. Well, where did they come from? What's their purpose? What do we do to promote them? What do we do to stop them? These questions are unanswered by science. Are they beneficial? Are they detrimental? Nobody knows. Now, when we're talking about human papillomavirus or the rhinovirus that causes, you know, head colds, or the influenza virus which causes the flu, or any other type of virus, quite frankly, the best thing to do from a holistic point of view is to upregulate the immune system. Give the body strength and support give the body the raw materials that it needs to defend itself, trust the wisdom of the body, and if the presence of the virus is a negative thing, then the body will rally and attempt to kill it. The body will rally and attempt to kill it. So what do we do to support and promote the structure and function of the immune system in the face of viral exposure? Well, if it's a topical presentation of the virus, as is the case of HPV, then when the virus manifests itself, when the little growth on the skin manifests itself, you spray the heck out of it with colloidal silver. You spray the heck out of it with colloidal silver. I would spray it with colloidal silver once every hour. I would set my smartphone to go off every hour, and every time it rings, I'd spray the area of the viral presentation with colloidal silver every hour. And I would tape a gauze bandage to it at night, and I would soak the gauze bandage in colloidal silver. I would just kill it with colloidal silver as much as is humanly possible externally, while internally I was giving support to the human body. And what do we do to give support to the human body internally for the immune system? Well, the anti-aging healthy start pack and selenium, appropriate for body weight, is a very, very, very good place to start, as is a diet that's high in protein. Because guess what? Your immune system is made from protein. That's what it's made from. So when your immune system is taxed, when your immune system is overworked, when your immune system is working, it would be prudent for you to feed it. And what do you feed it with? The 90 essential nutrients, selenium, and protein. So eliminate the 10 bad foods, eat a diet that's high in protein, spray the crap out of it with colloidal silver. And what we're experiencing in the field here is that the people who treat the presentation of viruses with holistic medicine, as time goes by, the virus presentation gets less and less and less and less and less and less and less, and perhaps ultimately it will also go away. So, we want to strengthen the body and knock down the virus with as much stuff as we possibly can. And the final thing to do in order to support and promote the structure and function of the immune system would be take the killer biotic. Because the killer biotic is a combination of herbs that Dr. Wallach put together, the intention of which is twofold. Number one, the killer biotic is intended to kill bad things in the body, kill bacteriophages in the body, kill microorganisms in the body. It kills them on contact. Number two, the herbs upregulate the immune system, increasing macrophage response time, increasing T helper cell production, increasing the effectiveness of the immune system. It's kind of like, the cavalry comes over the hill to help, or here they come, here comes the cavalry. Well, that's what happens when you take the killer biotic. So when you're up against it with any type of infectious thing, whether it's a bacteria or a virus, from our point of view, we do the anti-aging healthy start pack, selenium internally, and killer biotic. The recommendation for the killer biotic would be 1 bottle per 100 pounds of body weight per month. A diet that's high in protein. Eliminate the 10 bad foods, and life is good. I hope that answers the question for the good longevity people in the great white north in the province of Alberta, where we just had a ton of fun. Spoke to over 400 people in 4 separate events last week. They're really grabbing a bit between the teeth up there in Alberta, spreading our message of health recovery through science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition developed and delivered by licensed, regulated naturopathic physicians, delivering our message to as many people as will listen. And I love giving health lectures in Canada because Canadians are very practical, common sense people. They're very practical, common sense people. If you can just explain things to Canadians. Now, I'm making a big blanket statement, right? But I don't care because this is my experience of Canadians. If you just explain it to them and line it up for them in a way whose logic is irrefutable. I mean, if you explain to people why 2 + 2 = 4, they scratch their heads for a minute and they go, yeah, that makes sense to me. I'm in. So Canadians are, generally speaking, as a group, more inclined to take action once they understand what you're talking about. And so I have the easiest job in the world. I just have to explain things simply and easily, and Canadians run with the ball. I love helping people in Canada. And it also doesn't hurt that the province of Alberta is not in a recession. You know, money, insurance money, does not pay for vitamins and minerals and essential fatty acids and herbs and alternative to drug and surgery medical treatments. It just doesn't. And that's a whole nother conversation. I could line up the evolution of the medical insurance industry. It's a freaking nightmare. But point in fact that you have to pay cash on the barrelhead for vitamins and nutritional supplements. You have to pay cash on the barrelhead, whether you're in the U.S. or Canada or anywhere else in the world, because the insurance industry does not pay for it, and they should, but they do not. So in the province of Alberta, because there's no recession, because it's mostly gas and oil money, gas and oil revenues, and, you know, it's kind of like the 80s in the U.S. I'm not saying everybody's rich, but I'm saying there ain't no recession, and the majority of people in Canada, and at least in the province of Alberta, have extra money that they can use to throw at vitamin and mineral and nutritional supplementation. And so all they have to do is try it. Because when people try it, at least longevity stuff, they get results. Why? Because longevity's recipes are informed by $25 million of federally funded research and by over 40 years of clinical experience by the most lauded naturopathic physician in the world. When you put those two things together, it is a slam dunk. If you're going to spend hard-earned money to secure vitamins and minerals and nutritional supplements, you might as well get the best. You might as well get the best, and that's what we bring to the table. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the 10th day of October, 2013. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Stick around. We've got the Commander on the line. When we come back, we'll be kicking it with the Commander. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Don't even think about touching that dial. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden here with you live on the 10th day of October, 2013. Happy to have our old friend, the Minister of Facebook, the Wellness Warrior himself, Commander. Welcome back, Commander. How's it going?
All right, Dr. Glidden, how are you, sir?
I am fantastic. Things are getting better and better here every week because, you know, more and more people get on board the longevity stuff. More and more people have remarkable health recovery stories. More and more people tell their friends, family, church members, communities their remarkable health recovery stories. And then, you know, people want to try it. And I got to tell you something, man. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. And who doesn't like pudding?
I don't know. I like pudding.
So what's on your mind today, buddy?
Well, I saw you on the webinar you did. Even though you're in Canada, you lifted up a bunch of people in Fort Wayne, Indiana on Sunday morning, brother. I got to tell you that.
Yeah, so I appreciate that feedback. Yeah, you were there and you know. So let's tell the listening audience what we did. So there was a longevity event in Indiana last Saturday, big, called the Jamboree, and they do it once a year. And people from longevity come and they congregate and they get inspired and they learn stuff. And Dr. Wallach was there and the Commander was there. Marvin Rapp was there. There were a whole bunch of people there. But good old Dr. Glidden was up in the prairies of Canada. And, you know, I haven't cloned myself yet, so rather than trying to be in two places at once, we did a live video call. I did a live video call to the audience, and I gave an hour-long presentation to the folks sitting in Fort Wayne, Indiana, from my hotel room in Canada.
Yeah.
How about that? And, God, technology is just awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, your bicep was so big it was like a lunar eclipse. It just blocked out your whole head.
Yeah, I really think that we should start to do this more. This is, I think, one solution to the longevity information bottleneck. If we can start doing live events, you know, broadcasts like this all over the world, I think it's a better thing. And by the way, this is what we do, folks, to a lesser extent. with my live weekly webinars. So you can have access to live weekly webinars of health information and a whole library of archived health information if you become a Dr. Glidden Insider, a subscriber to my online health recovery stuff. So check it out. It's right there, fireyourmdnow.com. So how many people were, more or less, Commander, were at the Fort Wayne Longevity Jamboree?
About 150.
150 people, yeah, that's
good.
good.
I'd like to just say thank you. You know, somebody thought it was so important for me to be there that they bought me a ticket. Danny Service, you're the man. So,
well, you got to love it. Well, you know, we're all in this together, and this is how we do it. You know, one megabyte at a time, apparently.
Yeah, Doc Wallach's book in March is just going to blow it's going to be another nuclear explosion in the world of natural medicine. Talked about epigenetics that way, and even Dr. Milan was in Fort Wayne as well, and had a chance to talk with her. And Brenda Wright talked about essential oils, got some more insight on there. Found out, you know, just for my own purposes, that colloidal silver is a good carrier for essential oils. Again, another weapon in the defense of bad viruses.
See, I did not know that. So fill me in on that. So what's the deal with colloidal silver carrying essential oils? How does that work?
Yeah, you put it in the Mr. bottle. Nikki and I have put it in, Mrs. Commander, of course, have put First Defense and Robin Sorrow, which helps you breathe a lot easier. And we mist it in our room before we go to sleep every night, and things clear up and life is good. And then in the morning, you put it on my feet. Put it on your feet so it gets to your whole body during the day.
Now, do you mix that with colloidal silver before you spray it?
Yeah. Yeah, you put it in a 3-ounce Mr. bottle. It's about, you could do 5 to 10 drops of Robin Sorrow or 5 to 10 drops of First Defense. And you put that in there, and then you mix it, and life is good. You can also
wow. So, all right, excellent. So 3 ounces of colloidal silver, right? 3 ounces of colloidal silver in a Mr. bottle with about 5 drops of whatever essential oil you're using at that moment in time, and just mist the crap out of everything.
Yeah, but you don't want to get it in your eyes or your ears. Never your eyes or your ears. So keep your head down when you're misting and close your eyes.
You gotta love it.
And make sure the pets are out of the way, because they'll get it too. Make sure your pets are out of the way. That was very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Well, you know, like, all right, well, we're up against a hard break. We'll listen to that when we come back. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't know what you don't know. And if you tune into this radio station, this radio show every day, you're going to dramatically decrease the learning curve about the stuff you didn't know you didn't know. Stick around. We'll be back. Want to get away from medical mediocrity, from insanity, want to get away from financial insecurity? Go to fireyourmdnow.com, fireyourmdnow.com, and join our longevity cause. Also, visit the Commander on Facebook give it to him, Commander, what's the address?
The Wellness Warriors. That's Warriors with a Z, not an S. WARRIORZ. It is a secret group, so you have to ask. Because we just don't let anybody in there. We want people that are proactive, longevity people that are on course to change the way medicine's practiced in the world. Just like Dr. Glidden and Dr. Wallach.
Gotta love it. Wellness Warriors with a Z. Check it out right there on Facebook. So I'm sitting on the edge of my seat, buddy. What's the story?
You know, we never rehearse, but you just hit the nail on the head again. You just segue to a perfect thing that happened. You know, people are getting ready for the fall. You know, people that are going through a lot of season changes where they live have a lot more challenges on their bodies, so they need to be and just dial in their care just that much more. And just recently, my partner on ambulance, his ear was bothering him to no end. So it's just too much ear pain. So we went into an ER to drop off a patient. So we ran into a room, and I looked in his ear. Rudimentary exam showed he had some white stuff in his ear, and he thought fungus right away. And So he went to the doctor because he's still kind of enculturated to that allopathic model. And then they, of course, gave him an antibiotic. And I said, you know what, why don't you take some of this First Defense oil and put it behind your ear, take a drop. And he goes, brother, that makes my ear feel so much better, so fast. I said, because it's not bacterial, my brother, not bacterial. It's something else. So we attacked homeopathically with arnica to keep the smooth muscle relaxed and the apis to keep the inflammation down. And sure as heck, he decided to go see an ear, nose, and throat doctor. And what did the ear, nose, and throat doctor tell him, you think?
That he needed a lobotomy.
Well, I need one, but because of what I do. But no, he told him it was fungal. That was after oral antibiotic and antibiotic drops in the ear. So the MDs were given a double whammy, and then the third one said it's fungal, and of course you get tinactin in your ear with the clotrimazole and antifungal, but he's still using a combination of things, and it's working really well for him. But he guessed it right off the bat, Dr. Glidden. He guessed it.
Well, you got to. Well, I mean, that's remarkable. There's a couple things I want to say about that. Right, number one, he got it right. The MDs got it wrong, and not only did they get it wrong, but when you give an antibiotic to somebody who's in the throes of a fungal infection, the antibiotic makes the fungal infection worse. Right. It makes the fungal infection worse. So not only did they get it wrong, but they actually increased the pathogenesis of the problem. And, you know, they don't care. They're not going to sleep, you know, poorly tonight. They're just going to go to bed because they don't give a crap. Because doctors stopped practicing medicine a long time ago. They stopped practicing medicine a long time ago. MDs, by and large, there are exceptions which prove the rule, but MDs, by and large, are basically just shills for the pharmaceutical industry. Shills for the pharmaceutical industry. They stopped practicing medicine a long time ago. And, you know, it's just remarkable to me. I can't say this enough. I mean, there is no other industry on the planet where people can consistently screw up, and not only screw up and get it wrong, but screw up and hurt you, and still have a job the next day.
Oh, that burns me so bad. And, you know, nobody sees that in reference to you and me more than myself. Nobody.
Well, that's right, because you're in the back of the ambulance every day watching it firsthand 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. How many calls do you guys make a day anyway?
Well, usually in a 12-hour shift we can make up to 5, which is a lot. It's a lot because the calls I do take a little bit longer than normal ones. But just insatiable, as we get into the fall again, we need to I think one of the things to remind people is, you know, we get into comfort foods, and a lot of people go back to eating a lot of grains and things like that. They need to not do those things unless they're the good grains, the quinoa and the amaranth and those things. And just be very, very careful, like my partner, you know, with the antibiotic and the fungal infection. You're feeding the fire. Don't feed the fire in the fall with the wrong stuff. Feed the right stuff. Do the killer biotic. Do the cell shield. Do the colloidal silver as a preventative measure. I do colloidal silver preventatively every day, and I think you do too as well, Dr. Glidden. Am I right?
Yeah, I do colloidal silver. Love colloidal silver, and at this time of the year, well, all the time because I travel so much, I do the Pure Works foaming cleanser on the hands. That's awesome stuff.
Absolutely, we do that. I do that in the ambulance all the time. I wish there was a way I could infuse that into the EMS system right away. I know it will come, but it's just like you said, we've been so enculturated, thanks to J.P. Morgan, Nelson Rockefeller, and Dale Carnegie, and that just makes me burn up the other way.
Well,
those guys can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I know. It's the tip of the iceberg, too. I mean, when you really look at how medicine has evolved here in the United States, I mean, you know, the Bayer industry was a member of a cartel of German pharmaceutical companies committing war crimes at Auschwitz during World War II, and they just traded their uniforms for business suits. Nobody went to jail in the Nuremberg trials. They didn't touch anybody that had anything to do with the pharmaceutical industry because it is gigantic money, and basically everybody in the world except longevity members dance to their tune.
Yes, they do. They just don't dance anymore. Just get away from them. And then, again, we need to just keep dealing on where to get good advice. I hope to start some webinars soon, Dr. G, so I can spread Doc Wallach's message, your message. I did get to meet Joanne Conaway in Fort Wayne. She was actually looking forward to meeting me. She says, it's about time we got to meet. It's about time I got to meet you. I'm excited about that. She's a nurse as well, about 37 years in the profession. She helps out with a lot of gastrointestinal health and how to bolster that, because we know that the crux of the immune system is right there. So it just let me know that I'm doing the right thing. And that's why getting together with people like Dr. G went up to Canada, about 400 people. You know, every person, I think, knows about 2,500 people that they, and when you spread the message to that many people, multiply 2,500 times 400, and that's just a whole lot of people. You know, the more practical we get, the easier it is, because this world is so high-tech and so sophisticated. We need to just get back to the basics and take care of business. And if you take care of business and healthcare, the world is going to be a nicer place.
Well, yeah, and this is how we're going to change the world. I mean, you know, every social change movement in the history of humanity has always started with a handful of people. It's never been the majority that starts it.
No.
It's always the minority. You know, I mean, how many people signed the Declaration of Independence, and look at us now? How many people started the church, and look at us now? How many people started the Muslim movement, and look at it now? How many people started Buddhism, and look at it now? This is how we're going to make a difference. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a Longevity member, our recommendation is learn how to build your longevity business as a business. Learn the ins and outs of how to be an effective network marketer. Learn our simple enrollment system and practice it and perfect it every day. The simpler, the better. The less you say, the better it is. The more interested you become instead of interesting, the better it is. Listen, I know a doctor that says you don't have to suffer with that. If I send you a link to this webinar, will you watch it? If I send you a link to this video, will you watch it? If I invite you to this live event, will you watch it? If I lend you this DVD, will you watch it? This is all that we need to do 10 times a week. If you do this 10 times a week, ladies and gentlemen, your life will change. It's simply a numbers game. Don't be shy about spreading our message, because people are, you know, longing and looking for this information, for the information that we bring to the table. So, what's the take-home message from the Jamboree in Indiana last week?
Get ready. Get ready for Doc's new book with Dr. Milan and Gerhard Schreiser, Epigenetics. Get ready for March, and know that it's in the recipe. It's not in the blueprint. That you can make changes that are unimaginable beyond your wildest dreams with people's health, especially now with the muscular dystrophy campaign that we're on. And it blew me away. I was like, whoa. And I talk to Todd Harrison at least weekly, and he's just an amazing man on an amazing mission. We're blessed to have him as well. And but as well, we do things in all other health realms: cystic fibrosis, diabetes, asthma, arthritis. Just continue to fight the good fight. Fight the right fight. Join the warriors. Get on with Dr. Glidden. Look for our webinars. Look for seminars. Get somewhere. Invite 10 people. It is a numbers game. Some people, and don't chase anyone. Don't chase them. As much as you care, there are, like Dr. Glidden said, there are people out there that want to know. And it will be easier. And then what will happen is the people that didn't take you to heart the first time will come back around and say, hey, what about this? What about this? And then again, your longevity business grows. The world's health gets better, and I can only imagine the impact it will be once this blows sky high and moon high and Mars high, Jupiter high,
Jupiter High, you got to love it. Yeah. So the longevity event in March, so they announced that at the Jamboree. Which city is it going to be in this year?
No, just the book. No, just Doc's book's coming out in March.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dr. Wallach's book's coming out in March.
It went to the publisher this week.
Yeah.
And it will be out in March. And no announcements on exactly the day, but look towards that book coming out. Get that book. That book is very pivotal, very, very pivotal. And continue to help Doc Wallach, Dr. Glidden, and the Longevity Nation. And life will be grand for you because not only will your physical health be good, and then it plays into good emotional and good spiritual health if you're into that realm. And like I said, I was just awed by listening to Doc talk about epigenetics and how that's going to be impactful. He always dials it in, no matter what he says. So,
ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing it right here from the horse's mouth. Commander in the house. Thanks, Commander, for showing up. It's always fun when you're here. Please check him out, ladies and gentlemen, on Facebook. Wellness Warriors with a Z. That's Wellness Warriors. Check it out right there on Facebook. Commander, you're the greatest, man. Keep up the good work, and I'll talk to you in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Fire Your MD Now, the 10th day of October 2013, coming at you live all around the world via the Genesis Communication Network and the wonders of the World Wide Web and local radio stations that have a clue. Stick around, why don't you? We're going to go to Connecticut when we come back and talk to Annetta about back pain. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, reminding you that only you can prevent allopathic reductionism. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Going to take it to the phones right now. Going to go to Connecticut, talk to Annetta about back pain. Hey, Annetta, thanks for calling. You are live.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, Connecticut. How are you, Annetta?
I'm fine. How are you, Dr. Glidden?
Fantastic. I'm good, but I'll get better. Thanks so much for calling. How can I help?
Well, I had a hip replacement of my right hip in November 2009. Then I had a right hip revision in 2011. Then I had a left hip replacement in 2012. They gave me a brachytectomy on my right hip in July 2012.
Woohoo!
I had a back operation September 9th on my left side.
Woohoo!
And now my left leg and my hip is painful. My right hip is painful. I have swollen feet and swollen ankles. And I am on Coumadin because after the first right hip, I had developed a blood clot. And I'm taking Coumadin.
Well, call the surgeons and get a refund.
Go call the surgeons and get a refund.
Yeah, I mean, right? They screwed it up. They did all of this stuff to you, and you're still in pain, right?
Yes, I'm still in pain.
Yeah, so what do you think of their effectiveness? If you had to give them a grade, A, B, C, D, or E, for their effectiveness and how much they have helped you, what grade would you give them?
They would get an E. They would get 0.
Exactly correct. And you're not alone, Annetta. There are hundreds of millions of people all around the world exactly like you. This is an epidemic of medical mediocrity of biblical proportions. Why these people are still in business is beyond me. Now look, your hip didn't go south because you had a bad gene. Your back didn't go south because you had a voodoo curse. These things happen from our point of view because your musculoskeletal system, your body, has run out of the raw materials that it needs to keep your bones healthy. So what do? Well, we just give your body the raw materials that it needs to keep your bones healthy. We support and promote your body's ability to have healthy bones and joints with medical nutrition. And we stop eating food. We encourage you to stop eating food that's causing inflammation on a low-grade level. We stop eating food that's hurting the bones and joints, and we start taking supplements into the body that help the bones and joints. We keep our fingers crossed, and we see what happens. I mean, that just makes sense to me. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. They told me that I didn't have a back My hip wasn't bothering me. It was off from my back. That's why I had a back operation. They said it wasn't my hip, it was my back.
Yeah, and after they did the back operation, how's your hip?
It hurts me, and both hips hurt. Both hips hurt.
So they were wrong. They tricked you into having a needless surgery. You must have really good medical insurance, Annetta, do you?
Yes, I have insurance.
Yeah, well, you must have really good medical insurance because they're playing you like a fiddle, and they're using you like an ATM machine. They don't give a crap about your health. They're just going to try to roll out another useless, unnecessary surgery because, remember, it's a for-profit runaway machine. Now, what's your current body weight, Annetta?
I weigh 170 pounds.
All right, so here's what I would do if I were you for 90 days. Here's what I would do if I were you for 90 days. 2 healthy bone and joint packs. Get 2 healthy bone and joint packs and 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium and 2 bottles of plant minerals. That's 2 bottles of plant minerals, 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, Selenium, and 2 healthy bone and joint packs per month for 90 days. Plus, you have to eliminate the 10 bad foods. Now, who told you about this radio show, Annetta?
A friend of mine.
All right, so you want to get back in touch with the friend of yours. Ask them how to get these nutritional supplements at the wholesale price. Get the nutrition.
And also talk to Carl Morgan.
Yeah, okay, very good. So, whomever it was that turned you on to our approach, you want to get with them, because if you just try to get this stuff on the Internet, you're going to be charged a whack. If you go through an existing Longevity member, you're going to get the wholesale price. They'll get credit for it, and everybody is good. So lean on the people that brought you here. They will also tell you there are 10 foods I want you to stop eating. They'll tell you what those 10 foods are. So your job is to stop eating those 10 foods, take those nutritional supplements for 90 days, and look to see what happens to your health. I'm sorry, Annetta, we're up against a hard break. I've got to go. Stick around, folks. Second hour coming up.